be a very central topic heavy episode, but that's perfectly fine. I know Michael has no problem with that, don't you, Michael?
No, not at all. And by the way, welcome to From My Mother's Basement.
Yes, the show
Show
that's
where we just geek out on shit because we like to.
oh yeah, and especially this week.
But
Yeah.
before we do that, the new Damien figure is out.
Ooh.
The
What's the
base is
detail
kind
on
of weak because it's a magnetic base, but the magnets they put in them are really weak.
Okay.
But it's a good sculpt. It's a good paint job.
Nice.
So
Very cool.
that's really cool. And other stuff has been going on, kind of cool. So this week, though, wow, man,
Everything
I wish
happened.
I had tickets.
Yeah, I know. You and I talked about for months now about going to Star Wars Celebration, and of course, due to life happening, that didn't seem to turn out to be the case. But no matter.
The internet serves.
Oh yeah, Disney decided to embrace it rather than trying to shut out all the fans who couldn't make it to their party. And let's just start with that amazing trailer. Just because I
Okay, and then we'll talk about the figure later because there's the other figure I wanted to show you too.
Okay, let's pull that.
With all the cool stuff in there, the last line is the part that got me the most.
Oh yeah, no, the eyes.
The nostalgia just went nuts.
Oh god, the eyes kind of missed it up a bit for me when I saw that. I was just like, I need a moment.
It's about fucking time.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man.
I mean, even a little bit. You know, we all know Harrison Ford is an amazing actor, and just be able to pull up just with like what 3 words, a single line,
get you right in the feels.
Yeah. Oh god, oh so amazing. Then again, all the jokes on the internet right now is like, God damn it, Chewie, you know, all this time, not a single damn gray hair on you.
Yeah, no, Chewie must do dye jobs or some shit. Chewie's been using, what's the one for men?
Just for Wookiees?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but all these little clips that they had in there that blew me away. I mean, first off, I was really glad that they somehow brought this in here because it was so heavily rumored for so long that someone was going to try to, you know, bring up part of the corpse.
Looking for parts of Darth.
Exactly. As something
Darth
was
Vader.
Possibly hidden inside the corpse of Darth Vader. That was a really nice touch.
Yeah, but I have problems with the prop, but yes, it is a nice touch.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the Stormtroopers then real quick for a moment.
Those look badass.
That streamlined version.
Tron meets Star Wars Troopers.
I am perfectly fine with that. I am perfectly happy with it. For a full shot, they actually had this picture that was in the program guide that you could have bought at Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah.
And you can imagine just how many people have already, as soon as they saw this, went, okay, time to start working on the new suit.
I was going to say, everybody's vacuum formers just went into overdrive. Yeah, no, I totally want to make one of those. Did you have the picture of the chrome one?
I do, and that was the odd bit. Like, so when did
what is up with this?
Yeah, so now we have
this can't be Boba Fett, although you know we don't know.
Right.
But who is maybe this is Fives. Maybe Fives came back or something. We don't know.
And that got all chromed out too. That was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah, which implies that their armor may actually be somewhat functional finally.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I wonder though that with all the the soldiers being clones,
they're not anymore though. They stopped being clones according to official canon.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you went and saw At Midnight this week. On one of the episodes of At Midnight, they talked about they actually did a thing about the fact that the clones are not all Jango Fett anymore.
Mm.
Other people have been brought in, and other races, species.
Which would explain why all of a sudden we now have this super stormtrooper we're calling him, a specialized assassin,
the Chrome Trooper. Everybody's been calling him
the Chrome Trooper.
Yeah, Chrome Dome.
God, I can only imagine all of the variations that we're going to start seeing over the next.
I just want to see more and more stuff roll out. But of all the stuff that was announced, I mean, that was all really cool and good. No, don't get me wrong, I'm loving every minute of it. But the best thing for me was the stage presentation.
Yes, the main stage opening ceremony slash main event that kicked off Celebration
I'd like to see
this
the
weekend.
full run of that. I hope they post the full run of it,
I'm
not
really
just that
hoping
part.
they do because I mean they did stream it completely. It started at 10 a.m. and so a lot of places
I wish I'd have known. I'd have been watching it.
a lot of recorded it and posted it. But I want to share one of the more impressive moments that I know Michael and I have been trying to figure out and talk about for
Yeah, yeah.
most
I
of
want to know. I
today.
want to know how they do this.
So enjoy this clip.
The fact
Yeah,
that that thing's an actual physical prop and moves, I want to know how they did it. I really do.
they won't they haven't said
Well,
anything about it, but
R2 builders, you now have a challenge.
oh god, yeah. Try to figure out how to do this
A new
and
challenger
replicate
has
it.
entered the ring.
I mean,
Because
you said you had a theory about it, right?
I have a couple of ideas. I'm bouncing. I'm honestly leaning towards the idea of magnetics, but there are lights that would kind of prevent some of that. Um, there's also, I mean, there's obviously some motor driving the ball, so
Right.
that means there's something in the middle of the ball moving it, or there's wheels under the head. But if the
Mm,
wheels are under the head, how do you control it? How do you? It's
Not to mention, how do you get it so that it actually is able to move the head part around the ball without having the ball needing to move itself?
exactly, exactly. It's there's a lot of. I want to know how they did it.
Because that is just incredible. Like I don't when we saw the first trailer, we saw that little clip there, and we started wondering: is that prop? Is that real?
Yeah, originally
Uh,
we thought it was CG. It
uh,
runs on the souls of the damned. That's cute, Sega. That's cute.
oh god, but
Uh,
you kind of wonder me that for one, the incredible amount of technology that has to be put into that.
oh yeah.
Just think of the massive change in difference in technology used between R2D2 and BB-8
Well,
is
that 30 years. I
yeah.
mean, it's
I mean, the first one started off with someone, little midget guy, being inside of it. I can't remember his name for the
Mhm.
life of me.
Kenny Baker. How
Can't,
could you forget Kenny
I
Baker's name? You
know
need to be slapped,
I'm a
sir.
horrible person, but but yeah, I remember we saw this scene. We're like, CG, real, CG, real. I'm not
Yeah,
sure, quite sure.
and then that's just wow.
And then we get to this, and just
He's tiny.
he,
Part of what impresses me is how tiny he is.
yeah, that was impressive. I do like the voice that they gave this character. It's a
Yeah,
lot more in terms of beeps
nuanced.
and boops. For to me, it's a little bit more snarky than R2
Honestly, it reminds me of Wally.
of Wally.
Yeah,
I could see a little bit of that, but I'm curious to see what else they have stored.
yeah, yeah. I want to know what else is going on, and hopefully over the weekend, since we're recording on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
hopefully over the weekend they'll reveal more, and we'll be able to see more cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't freaking wait.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little more about that trailer real quick. I want to talk about that first scene when it's just going across the desert. I'm like, okay, this is a classic scene. You see the
You caught that that's not Tatooine, right?
no, that's it starts with a J. I just completely forget.
Jarrock, I think it is.
Jakku, Jakku is the
Yeah,
official wording thanks to the
it's a
Star Wars
starship
trailer.
graveyard.
Yeah.
I,
Now, I
okay,
had,
I doubt the Empire deliberately planted a star destroyer there. You know,
but,
I that had to crash there.
mm-hmm. But
But
in any
why?
case, though, I would love to see that scene of that Star Destroyer,
Oh yeah,
purposely or not, crashing into Jakku, just right into the
hmm
sand. And but that whole scene in the background, as it panned over, it was that one scene already sold me,
oh yeah,
more
totally.
so than I already had before.
Yeah.
Um, there seems to be a lot more emphasis on running this time around.
Well, it's kind of to be expected.
True. Of course, we're now starting to see more about the villain. Was it Kylo Ren or Kilo Ren? I forget. They have
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren. They released some new artwork for him as well. You're starting to see more of his mask, which is
You
spot
know,
on for what all the leaks were talking about. It's one of the
you know what he
few.
reminds me of? Honestly, that mask
Hmm.
reminds me of Revan.
Yeah, he really. You mentioned that before. He does have that Revan.
He
Uh,
definitely looks like Darth Revan.
yes, but here's the question though. They really can't. Um,
He's not going to be Red.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't bring that into this. There's too many things that would prevent anything like that. Um, for me though, he because of the long faceplate in front on the helmet, I guess you can call it the face mask.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of gives me a slight General Grievous vibe to it.
Yeah, a little, but it's mostly leather. It's leather with the metal protectants.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you look at it, you can see the texturing.
Right.
I mean, it looks like it's supposed to be some form of leather.
But
I'm
man,
also digging the black Tie Fighters.
yeah, the updated Tie Fighters look really very cool. There was that one brief scene where
Where they're all being shot to hell.
right, I'm thinking so John Bodega's no Boyega's character um makes you wonder if he's the one that's causing all this chaos inside. I'm guessing a Star Destroyer itself
or station.
or a station. It's not gonna be another Death Star. Hopefully, we don't need yet a third one. They don't have the budget for it.
I was gonna say, you think the Galaxy can afford a third one? You hadn't finished paying off the first one, then they blew up a second one.
But I do have to say, ILM seems to have no short of cash or talent because the quick scene you saw of the TIE fighter with the
Chasing the Falcon through
chasing the Falcon through the ruins of that Star Destroyer.
That wasn't the Star Destroyer. I don't think it was.
You don't
I think
think
it was a
so?
different ship.
I think it actually was a Star Destroyer.
As it comes up close, if you look at, you actually get a better look at the body. I don't think it was the Star.
You
It
don't
may
think
be,
so?
but I don't think it was.
Okay, but anyways, the ruins of a giant ship on a
Yeah,
they couldn't imagine a thing of doing anything remotely to that, even in the original, not the original, but the prequel trilogy when they
well,
had
they did sort of, not into the ship, but
mm,
there's that whole. I mean, how do you think the Millennium Falcon lost its antenna
yeah.
flying
Yes.
through the Death Star too?
Oh man, but I mean, out of all of this, aside from BB-8, was there anything that really stuck out to you?
I love the new trooper design.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they are definitely implying or they're putting for. If the girl's not a Skywalker, I will be shocked. Now the question is, whose child is she? Is she Leia's or is she Luke's?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to think it was Leia and Han's, but I still wish they'd have brought the twins in because, god damn it, that was a cool storyline.
And maybe they will in a future episode.
It's entirely possible. We don't know.
It's very nice that we know for a fact that even though we have to wait till Christmas for episode 7, we can take solace in the fact knowing that it's not going to take 3 or 4 years before the next one. It's going to be like almost every other year.
Yeah, they're saying every other year.
So, I'm sure by the time this episode airs on YouTube, we'll probably have information about the spin-off movies that have been announced. We'll probably.
Oh, I hope so, and I hope that they're going down a couple different routes. There's a couple different implications to what it could be.
Mm-hmm.
One could be following Boba Fett. Another suggestion would be following Sabine from Rebels.
That would be a very cool idea. I mean,
basically creating a live-action Sabine,
which wouldn't be out of the realm of the possibility, especially given the time frame that
she'd be in her 50s.
But then again, we also have other characters in that age range.
Well, yeah, you're right. It's just I don't know. Where they're going to place it in the timeline? Is it all going to be concurrent? Is it going to be prequels, forquels?
Yeah, all this.
One thing that's interesting about this is the in the comic series,
mm-hmm.
they've recently restarted the comic. It's taking place between 4 and 5, so between New Hope and Jedi is where the current not counting New Padawan.
Oh, okay.
But the new Star Wars comic,
mm-hmm.
the Darth Vader comic, and the Princess Leia comic are all taking place in between Ep 4 and 5. So far, the writing's interesting.
Okay.
It's not bad. I'm enjoying it. I think what Leia's doing is pretty cool. I'd like to see more. The artwork's spot on. I'm really pleased with the artwork.
I've only seen some preview stuff online. I haven't physically had a copy in my hand to.
Well, when you come up, you can read them. Because I've got them.
Sweet.
And the first issue of Last Padawan came out, which is Kanan's story
mm-hmm.
from Rebels. It's looking pretty interesting so far.
Nice.
I like to see where they're going to go with it. The part that kind of threw me for a loop, just because I expected to have a bottle of Colt 44. Um, Lando Calrissian's getting his own series, his own
See,
comic.
that's the one that kind of threw me off. I mean, good for him. He's a fan,
He's a
a
great
fan favorite.
character, and I
Yeah.
love me some Billy D. Williams, but really,
You never know what's going to happen. Maybe they'll go back and actually go through the scene of the car
him
game,
losing
whatever game of him losing the
the
Falcon.
Falcon,
Come on, that'd be a great way to
and then
sell.
turning up
You
to get Bespin.
know, I mean, that'd be perfect right there. That's a good way to flesh out
Well,
the
he showed
character
up in
and the
Rebels.
canon. Did he? I don't remember that.
Yeah, the issue where they're trying to get the pig thing,
Uh-huh.
and that's Lando's in that episode, and they actually had Billy D. Williams do the voice.
Nice. Very nice.
So
Okay.
he's they're still doing stuff with him. So
I'm gonna have to go back and find that then.
yeah, I think it was. I
Um,
want to say it was episode 5.
do we want to? I mean, we're talking about Rebels a little bit right now. Do we want to talk about the ending of the season on that, or
If you're watching Rebels and you haven't seen it yet, it's up for public view on Disney XD's website. So yeah, just make sure when you put this up, you throw up the spoiler flag.
okay? But yeah, I mean, go into
Well, give them a couple seconds to run away or skip forward. I am so freaking glad they brought Ahsoka back.
Oh man, that was
Oh my god, because they left her fate was left open in the was it fifth episode or season of Clone Wars.
something like that.
Yeah, it was the one that they basically was released only on Netflix,
Mm-hmm.
and it's they left it pretty nebulous as to what happened to her,
Mm-hmm.
whether she lived or died.
And now, thanks
And
to
as of the final season finale for Star Wars Rebels, we know she is alive.
alive, well, and kicking ass.
And that she is Fulcrum, which I actually kind of like the way they aged her. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
she would be early 20s at this point, or
Right.
actually she'd be mid 20s, maybe even 30. But they aged her well, and we don't know how Togruta age as far as how long they live or whatnot.
Right.
Um,
But it works very well for that
I
situation.
want to see what they do with her.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I want to see, especially how well she's come across with her, not only her force abilities but also her command abilities.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that you can really. I really just want to
Well,
see.
she's got military. I mean, she obviously has military experience.
Yes.
She knows who Tarkin is.
Which will be an interesting thing how they're going to play that out in the next season.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
but if anything, this is a fantastic way for them to tie in Clone Wars to Rebels. I couldn't think of a better way for them to do it. Than
it's really going to be interesting to see where they roll with it.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, how long? Do you remember how long we have until season 2 is even? Yeah,
I don't even know if they've announced season 2 yet.
Just
to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, I know that they're gonna, because I read an interview with the creator, who the executive the EP for the show.
Okay.
And they're gonna do more. They're gonna do stuff with her, but they haven't said when it's hitting.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we'll have to keep on keeping our ears to the ground on all over the internet, especially this weekend, and I'm sure next week we'll have a full in-depth look at everything that was announced over the 4 days. Everything else that was going on in the it's called in the exhibit hall. Apparently, there was already some pictures online showing that All Nippon Airways (ANA), the airline company, actually is going to reskin one of their planes for like one of their intercontinental flights to look like R2-D2. And I'm like, done. I need to find.
You know what? If Air New Zealand could do it for hobbits, why not?
Yeah, exactly. Let's see if I can pull up an image of that. I just thought of it off the top of my head real quick. Yes, there it is. Let me pull that real quick for you. Just because, why not? There's just a random bit of tie-in. But then again, Star Wars is kind of like the king of merchandise tie-ins.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, as far as
there you go.
Well, that's intriguing. It's like R2's going down a black hole.
So why not,
Wow. Whatever. Looks kind of cheesy to me, but okay, whatever.
But I'm sure we'll get tons more images. Probably some fantastic cosplay is going on
I'm
at the
expecting
Anaheim Convention
some
Center.
kick-ass cosplay. I'm expecting some more kick-ass announcements.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to have money and go to the exhibit hall just to see what's there. You know.
Honestly, if life works out, I may just try to swing by there on Sunday for like even 2 hours.
Yeah,
Um,
good. Enjoy that. I'm not
yeah.
going to be able to, unfortunately.
Uh,
What's sad is I'm going to be in the neighborhood because there's a con meeting Saturday.
ah.
But
Then again, the at door prices, especially for Saturday, which is
yeah,
their
I can't
biggest day.
justify $80 a head.
Even if I had the means, that's just a little too out of my price range at this point.
Yeah, no, mine as well.
So I guess we'll just have to stick to like most other people, the internet and YouTube, but even so, we're able to see all this great stuff already.
Oh, yeah,
so.
very cool stuff. But we can't do it all about Star Wars. We kind of need to move on a little bit to other stuff.
Yes, we cannot. I mean, let's. We're already at 40 minutes, so before
you realize we started at 8:15.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, what do we want to talk about now? Because you have options for the new Terminator Genesis film or trailer that basically throws a wrench into everything that was canon.
I haven't seen the. I read the article. I did not watch the trailer.
Okay. There's also the
Ant-Man trailer is intriguing.
Also funny as hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a hard time taking that one seriously.
That it was never really designed to be that serious. I mean, the comics, yes, Hank Pym kind of went crazy about a dozen times or so, but
the idea that he shrinks to that tiny and still has this effectively full strength.
Dude, the train segment.
That was funny. That was funny. Getting run over by Thomas the Tank Engine was pretty damn funny.
Oh, man. There's also some news out of upcoming X-Men Apocalypse, and there's also a brand new clip from Inside Out that actually looks amazing.
Oh, really? I hadn't seen that one.
Should we go with that one? And then
Let's go with that one.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll show you the other figure.
Cool. This is the latest latest film or clip from the upcoming film Inside Out for Pixar. Premiered at the Cannes Film Festival. Enjoy.
Aww.
Oh man.
I don't know. I'm still kind of iffy on that one.
Really? There was another trailer for it that was released. I'd say maybe about a week and a half ago. That gives a little more of what to expect, and it's quite interesting. It's basically the whole fact that not only you have the girl Haley, she's starting a first day at school in a new town she's never been to before. Joy and sadness, due to reasons, get sucked into Haley's long-term memory, and it's up to the remainder of the emotions to try to take over and control her while they're trying to get back. So you have this odd, like, not even really like a coming-of-age story. It's just an odd hodgepodge of things that I have to say it's hard for me to explain it, but it made me feel a little more comfortable with the ideas that Pixar's coming out with. But then again, here's the thing: Pixar, what have they really done wrong?
No, they haven't done anything that's bad. Yeah. I mean, there's stuff that I've liked more than other stuff.
Yes.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see about that.
We'll see.
What should we do for the other bit? I leave that up to you.
The Batwoman Kotobukiya finally came in.
Ooh, do you have it with you? Oh, that's nice. The pose alone is actually really well done. How's the detail?
It's Kotobukiya, so the sculpt is phenomenal.
True.
Dead ass.
That is nice.
She has a replacement head.
Now,
I just ripped off Batwoman's head.
Okay, so that's actually replacing the entire head. It's not just.
What's weird is with the alternate head, her hair is short.
That's interesting.
So I'm guessing as Batwoman, she wears a wig or something. I don't actually read the comics, so I don't. The only thing I know about her is that she's gay. That's the only thing I know about her.
Right. Okay then.
and she kicks ass.
Well, yes.
But it's a really good sculpt. I mean, they did a fantastic job. I mean,
Very
the
cool.
details there, but it's only the only two colors are black and red. So
Mm.
you know, it's and they apparently while we're on the superhero kick, I'm gonna deviate slightly. Have you watched any of Daredevil yet?
I have watched the first 2 episodes. I was planning on watching as much as I can tonight. All my friends who have watched it said it's one ultra violent and two amazing.
It's ultra violent. It is amazing, and it's based off of this.
Which one do you have there? Who wrote that one?
Mark Millar
Oh
and
God,
or Mark Miller. Or, I'm sorry, who's not Mark Millar? Hang on, it's Miller and Lomita, or Romita rather. Hang on, Frank Miller and John Romita. So the man who wrote Dark Knight Returns and 300. No, I didn't say right. I'm sorry, Sin City. Um, yeah, it's good.
that's all
Good
right then.
stuff.
Yeah, I was. It's one of those that I wish I could have uh, been embraced my true nerd and actually the second it was available on Netflix, just sit down and marathon the whole thing, like many people did.
Well, Nikki and I watched the first 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was late. We kind of had to go to bed.
Mm.
Um, and
Damn you, real life.
it's looking really good. I'm looking forward to watching more of it.
Cool.
So
Well,
I wish, but they're doing what the other two they're doing are Iron Fist and what was the other one
there was 4 total that I remember they were talking
for
about
Netflix? I thought there were 3.
for Netflix. I believe it's 3 origins, individual ones. Then they all come together and become like I think the Defenders.
Okay, okay. Well, so far
We'll have to see.
Daredevil's looking pretty good.
I know. Well, for some people out there, I'm sure gonna probably give me crap for not marathoning it, but I have a life. I started a new job, so life
It's got
is.
Rosario Dawson.
Well, All right. What should we wrap up with before we get to what we're watching?
Well, we already kind of started with what we were watching.
Mhm.
I just finished watching, or finished the series The Newsroom.
How was
Uh,
that?
Really good,
Okay.
actually. It's an Aaron Sorkin piece.
Mhm.
Some of the there's a lot of fluff in there, but past the fluff, there's some really good storytelling and about how news should be versus how what news is these days.
Hmm.
And it's as a person who was a TV production major who worked on a news program for a while, I was like really into it.
Nice.
And it actually hit the feels pretty hard on the last episode,
Okay.
which surprised me. And I found out that Olivia Munn can act. It's a brain. It broke my brain, but the woman can actually act.
Because I know we've had the conversation that she actually is fluent in Japanese.
Yeah, there's an episode where she does speak Japanese plainly and clearly.
Hmm.
But throughout the story, I mean, there's various points where a lot of her snarky. I mean, it's an Aaron Sorkin show, so there's going to be a lot of snark.
Right.
And Olivia Munn is known for being snarky, but she actually has to display emotion at various points and does well,
Hmm.
surprisingly.
Okay. Now is it all available currently on? I'm guessing Netflix or
Well, no, it's on HBO Go.
on HBO Go. Okay.
So I watched all 3 seasons.
Nice.
I wish there had been more seasons.
Hmm.
Jane Fonda's in it.
Really?
As the owner of the network.
All right then.
And her character is rather intriguing. And then Sam Waterson's in it, and a lot of other people. And they actually, there's some of the characters that you look at and you're like, you're a freaking idiot. But then there are other characters that you actually grow to care about.
Okay.
And what happens to them is important. And they wrap it around a lot of real life events that took place. Like they talk about the Boston bombing, they talk about the elections, they talk about Sandy, they talked about they hinted at Edwards. They did it. It's weird. They did kind of like the WikiLeaks / Snowden thing, sort of.
Okay.
Where a source comes forth with a bunch of stuff to like over 27,000 classified documents, and they built a story around that. And they actually referenced Edward Snowden as a separate thing at one point,
Mm-hmm.
but their story was not the Edward Snowden story per se. And there's a
So,
whole big thing around that.
so they
That's
referenced, but they never directly talked about him or WikiLeaks or anything like that, right?
no, yeah. Well,
Okay.
he didn't do WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks was
No,
separate.
Julian
WikiLeaks,
Assange. Yes, I'm talking about.
yeah.
I just want to see if they were just mentioned briefly in passing, or.
Well, there's one scene where they actually go to Moscow to camp out to actually try and get pictures and an interview with him. And there's this whole side story where they're trying to get on this tickets to this plane to Cuba or to Havana that he's supposed to be on,
Mm-hmm.
and what the hell they have to go through to get on it. And then it turns out he doesn't even get on the damn plane. He ends up staying behind in Russia. But there's a whole thing around this informant
Mm-hmm.
who leaks all this information, and whether or not the reporters inside the newsroom will give away the source or not, and the integrity therein.
Mm.
So it was really cool. To me, that was really cool.
Okay. So I'm guessing this is you're definitely recommending this for anybody who hasn't really watched or heard of much of it yet, correct?
Yeah. Well, if you're a fan of West Wing, it's not West Wing. I mean, it's Aaron Sorkin,
Okay.
so it is West Wing, but it's not as
West Wing, but yet not West Wing, or
it's got that feel,
uh-huh.
but it's a newsroom instead of the presidency.
Okay.
And the story, the way it plays out, and the dialogue. Oh my God, the dialogue. Aaron Sorkin could compete with Tarantino for some of his dialogue.
Nice. Okay, that's good to know. It sounds like I'm gonna have to go ahead and add this to my watch list,
Yeah,
which
it's intelligent.
it continues to grow and grow and grow. Sadly.
Yeah, it does. You got a lot of stuff you need to watch.
Well, I mean, I've just only recently. Oh, sorry. Please continue.
No. Please go ahead.
I was gonna say I only just recently started watching Game of Thrones. Like I'm on like episode 6 of season 1. I have
I've seen all of season 1 and the first couple episodes of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I have season 2 on Blu-ray.
Okay.
I haven't watched all of it though.
Okay.
They're on season 5 now? Just started.
Yeah, and I did watch the episode. I didn't really have a really grasp idea what was going on, but I was like,
Talking
okay.
about the Red Wedding?
No.
Or the new episode?
The new episode.
Oh, okay.
So, it wasn't really much of a spoiler for me because I didn't really know exactly what was going on. Plus, also, spoilers never really bothered me that much. You can tell me what's going to go on. I'm still going to enjoy it.
Well, and it's pretty much public knowledge, and if you don't know this by now, sorry.
Yeah.
When Joffrey dies, little fucker deserved it. I was happy he died.
Of course, there was also that other bit that a screener of the first 4 episodes of the new season actually were leaked online.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there were low definition copies, but you can still see
that.
everything, and yeah, that's causing a whole bit of a scandal right now, especially because now that you have HBO Now, it's now available for people to purchase. $15 a month if you buy it with an iOS device right now during their exclusivity period. You get it for a month free. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know if this was timed or is this more along the lines of just bad coincidence and bad for HBO.
But they're gonna make money regardless.
Yeah. Well, speaking of HBO, and you were talking about a little bit about the Edward Snowden and Julian Assange stuff like that. The only thing I've really watched this past week was catching up on Last Week Tonight with John Oliver.
Oh, the IRS episode.
So there was the IRS episode, and then there was the episode before that where John Oliver was actually able to fly to Russia.
Oh, when he interviewed Edward Snowden?
Oh, man.
NSA, dick pic or no dick pic?
But it's...
FBI, dick pic, no dick pic.
Oh, God. It was hilarious and both sad at the fact that you have all these problems that, issues with government spying and whatnot. And the only way to really get the public to understand what the hell's going on is to correlate it with the dick pic. I'm like, yeah. God damn.
CIA, dick pic or no dick pic? Dick pic.
Oh, it was so good. There's an extra little bit online of the interview where they're talking about password security. It's actually quite funny.
Oh, really? I'll check that out.
I did catch up a little bit on At Midnight, but then again, I also, thankfully through sheer luck, I was able to go attend a taping, I should say, of At Midnight. Michael, it's very, very feasible that maybe we'll be able to go see another one. You can come with me when I go back again.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Make that happen at some point.
Like with all sets, It always looks bigger on TV. I mean, the set's
Oh
tiny.
yeah, I'm sure the set's tiny.
The set's tiny. The guests and of course Chris Hardwick are especially tiny.
Yeah, yeah.
um,
It's like I really kind of I would hate to meet Tom Cruise because the boy's like what 5'2".
Something like that. You would just tower over the guy.
Yeah, it's just like yeah.
But what was surprising to me, and I'm actually shocked that to me myself that I was surprised by this, is that in the two episodes that I watched taped, the first one was almost entirely scripted, including all of the jokes. In between cuts when they would and then when they're clear, you would have the makeup people come out and reapply makeup, but then all of a sudden each comedian would whip out a stack of cue cards, and there were several times where they'll redo or do several retakes of a certain joke over and over again. Plus, there was also a giant teleprompter facing the comedians, and I mean that kind of soured it a little bit for me because it was like, you guys are comedians. Why am I watching,
Yeah, why am I watching
complete,
you script this shit?
completely scripted? But then again, the main reason why me and Jess and her brother Jordan and his buddy Chapman decided to go down there was because Tim Minchin was making a was going to be part of an episode. And that episode, I believe, actually airs tonight. It was also with, I think, with Rich Fulcher and Reese Darby.
Reese Darby's hilarious.
Oh man, those three. If the one, I never saw a single cue card or a teleprompter, save for Chris Hardwick.
Hmm.
Um, so if they were something rehearsed, it was very, very believable. But honestly, some of the sheer chaos that was happening on stage had to be completely unscripted, off the cuff. Um,
My guess is that depending on who the comedians are, will determine whether they're scripted or not.
right. But oh man, I was rolling so hard. And of course, like with any taping, when you go see, there's always a ton of stuff that never makes it air for some obvious and some very not so obvious reasons.
Hmm.
Watching a live taping versus watching it on air, it's amazed how many little fucks are released on air, because I lost count after about 70.
Of them cussing.
Episode, just them cursing. Reese Darby,
Wow.
after a while, just like, I don't give a shit anymore, and just went off. um, there's, oh god, there was this whole thing with Three Deer that becomes like the centerpiece of the entire episode that just is wrong in so many ways. But when you have, Tim Minchin, like, at one point both vastly confused, laughing his ass off, and horrified for what he just saw. It was good times. I was just hoping that the very, very off chance that maybe a piano would show up and he would play something, but
Mm.
But yeah, you guys can go get tickets. Just search for a company called On Camera Audiences. The tickets are absolutely free. Just make a reservation, make sure you're there, follow the dress code, and you can see behind the scenes of some of the most popular TV shows out there right now.
Cool.
So that's pretty much what I've been watching.
Well, okay then.
I just had to drive places to go watch it.
Mm.
But on that, I mean, we really can't add any more to this, can we?
Yeah, no, we're pretty much at the end of the rope here. We are now at the mercy of J.J. Abrams.
Yeah, which I will say though, in closing, he's already announced that he's very, very afraid of screwing this up and what the fans are going to say. So he's taking every precaution and taking everything to heart. I mean, he spent this whole time.
Well, and he was a Star Wars fan. I mean, he
Yes.
was a genuine fan. So
Um,
he wasn't a fan of Trek. He wasn't originally a Trek fan, yet he
Right.
did a pretty good job with Trek.
he
So
did, and
if he's a fan of Star Wars, hopefully he'll do a good job with Star Wars.
especially the fact that he's willing to go back to one, shooting it on film, two, using as much real life props and sets as humanly possible. Just adds some more, not only to the realism, I guess you can call it,
Well,
but
the realism and the prop makers and the model makers,
Mhm.
help revive that industry because the miniature industry needs to come back to life. I mean, I get CG. I love CG.
Mhm.
I am a CG whore. I admit it. But I also love miniatures and I love that technology and what you can do with miniatures.
Oh yeah, I mean, it also looks just fairly recently with what Weta did for the miniature sets for the new
For
Thunderbirds series.
Thunderbirds, yeah.
I was like, that's
Oh, that was something else I
gorgeous.
watched I need to tell you about. I finally saw the CG Harlock movie.
You did? Okay. How was it?
Have you watched it?
I've only watched bits and pieces
It's on
of it.
Netflix.
Right.
So it's dubbed, unfortunately.
Mm.
But visually it's stunning. It's amazing visually.
Really?
Story, it's okay.
Typical.
The voice acting, I'm pretty sure that David Hayter is the voice of Harlock.
Actually, that's kind of somewhat fitting.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Hayter. It could have been Bloom, but I'm pretty sure it's Hayter. The credits honestly didn't show the American voice actors.
Oh,
It showed the Japanese voice actors.
Okay.
Which is really bizarre. But the story was okay. It's interesting. Well, what they did with some of it. But visually, for a movie that came out 6 years ago? No, 2010.
The Japan theatrical release was September of 2013.
Okay, so it's been around for at least 4 years. Visually, it's incredible. I mean, we saw the high-res previews of it in 2010. I saw them at TAF. So
okay.
It's beautiful.
I just looked it up right now that the English voice actor for Harlock in the movie is a voice actor by the name of David Batronga. He's been doing stuff in Red Data Girl, Samurai Bride, Codebreaker, Attack on Titan, Say I Love
That's
You.
Harlock's voice?
That's Harlock's voice, yeah.
God, he sounds like David Hayter. He sounds like Snake. He really does.
He also voiced the English version of Briarios in Appleseed 13.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's cool.
So it looks like this thing keeps going on and on and on and on. He's been doing this for a while. Wow, he's an elfin lead? God. Awesome.
Wow.
All right, just a little bit of extra tidbit of news right there.
Yeah.
And on that, I think we should probably end it. So I'm sure next week's going to be
Star Wars.
Most likely all Star Wars, maybe a little bit extra on the side.
All Star Wars all the time.
But then again, can you blame us though?
We're geeks.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and yeah, we will see you very soon next week for From Mother's Basement. I'm Jason.
And I am Michael.
And we will see you guys sometime next week. Take it easy, everybody.